This video is discipline tips from 20 years of children's work. Let's get right into it. If we're meeting for the first time, my name's Josh with Kids Ministry Tools. Tip number one, prepare yourself. Prepare yourself spiritually, prepare yourself mentally, physically. One thing that helps with discipline is when the teacher is ready for class. The kids can tell if you're not ready. They can kind of see if you're mumbling or fumbling around. Maybe they haven't studied their lesson. Maybe they haven't prepared for class. So one of the biggest issues that I see with discipline these days is when the teacher is just not ready. They're not prepared enough for class. Tip number two, do not play favorites. Okay? Be fair and impartial. Don't play favorites. Well, this kid's been coming for a long time, or this kid's in my class. They're always good. So you kind of slight the rules just a little bit so that they could get by with it because they're your favorite. No. Don't play favorites in class. Hey, if a rule is a rule, then you make sure that that rule is enforced. By the way, if a rule is not enforced, it's just a suggestion. It's not a rule. So make sure that you do the best that you can as a teacher to not just prepare yourself, but also be fair. Be impartial. Make sure that you don't play favorites. Number three, variety is the spice of life. So therefore, change up the classroom every once in a while, sporadically. Maybe it's with the season, maybe it's with a theme that you're having in school or Sunday school, whatever the case may be, but change up the classroom every once in a while. Maybe rearrange the seating. Maybe rearrange who sits where. Maybe the guys on one side, the girls on another side every once in a while, front, back, whatever, sporadic, whichever is best for your seating. Number four, very important, be consistent. Don't be strict one day and not strict the next, or not strict at all and then all of a sudden you're going to lay down the law. Okay, be consistent. Children need to see that there's some consistency in their teacher, not this way one day and then this way another day. Be very consistent. One of the keys to discipline in your classroom is to learn to be consistent. Number five, use common sense. Now, sadly, common sense is not a very good sense right now because sadly there's a lot of weird thinking going around, but use common sense. If your gut is telling you don't do it, or if your gut is telling you, hey, take care of this, then go ahead. If the Holy Spirit is leading you to take care of an issue, then take care of the issue. But use common sense. Don't be going through and doing anything that you shouldn't do. Use common sense. Number six, do not take just one side of the story. One of the problems that I had when I was a kid was when the teacher would only listen to just one side of the story and not listen to the other side. Whether it was a Sunday school teacher or whatever the case, or even in junior church or even in school, you have to be careful to make sure that you don't just take one side and say, okay, that's what happened. No, ask around, make sure you know what was going on. Don't just assume you know because one kid said something. Okay, not even the judge in the courtroom is going to do that. Nope, they allow both sides to speak. So therefore, in class, make sure that both sides get to speak. Don't just listen to just one side of the story. Number seven, do not threaten what you cannot carry out. Do not threaten what you cannot carry out. If you will not do what you just threatened, then don't threaten it. If you say, well, I'm going to have to call your mom, and you don't even have the mother's number, then you're not going to be able to carry out what you just threatened, okay? So I'm going to send you to the principal's office. If you're really not going to do it, okay, then don't threaten it. Well, I'm going to take your phone away. Don't threaten something that you will not carry out. Number eight, use your voice to your advantage. Now, I'm not talking about rude and crude and yelling at people and stuff like that. I'm talking about fluctuation. All right, sit up straight, hands in your lap, no talking. I mean, do something different every once in a while that grabs that attention again. By the way, I love using attention grabbers, right? That's one of the ways we talked about with keeping kids' attention. If you hadn't seen that video, it's up here. But still, when you're keeping kids' attention, you have less discipline problems. So therefore, use your voice to your advantage. If you can all of a sudden talk like this, then talk like that and enjoy the class time, but use it appropriately. But still, use your voice to your advantage, okay? And that will help with discipline problems. Number nine, do not expect perfection. I don't think it's very fair to anybody for somebody to expect you to be perfect as a teacher. Nor do I think it's fair for you as a teacher to expect your children in the classroom to be perfect. It's not going to happen. So therefore, don't expect it. Number 10, do not punish in the heat of anger. Everybody I know has a button that can be pushed. Some, it's harder to get their button pushed or the chip flown off their shoulder. Some, it's easy. I mean, it's an easy button. Don't be that way, please, okay? If you have a light temper or you're just like, all of a sudden, do not punish in the heat of anger. If all of a sudden that child pushed your button, it's not time to push back. Not time to push back at all. Either get a hall monitor or get somebody in the hallway to come in and help deal with the situation if you have to, but do not punish in the heat of anger. Cool off, settle down, then take care of the issue. Number 11, do not try to be a kid. Do not try to be a child. It will destroy your authority. If all of a sudden the kids are playing around and acting up and you want to join in on that, that goes back to be consistent. No. You need to be consistent in being an adult. You need to be consistent in being the teacher, okay? Sure, you can have fun with the students, but there needs to be a line that you draw of you're not going to act like a child. You're not going to be a child. You're not trying to be a child. You're still the one in charge. You are setting the tone of the fun, right? That leads us to number 12. And number 12 is set the temperature as a warm, friendly, and welcoming environment. They ought to feel welcome when they come into your classroom. It ought to feel like, wow, my teacher cares for me. They've spent time to prepare for class. They spent time to make sure everything is where it should be. My classroom is clean. All these things play into discipline. They really do. When a child sees that you actually care for them, that sets a better tone, and that sets you up as a better authority in their life. Number 13, get to know the parents and build a on the same team mentality. When the child knows that you and the parents are good friends and then you actually communicate to their parents and that you actually will talk to their parents about their behavior or misbehavior in class, that helps the child see, I better not act up. They know mom. And mom and the teacher are on the same team. That leads us to number 14. Number 14 is don't just give bad news to parents. No. Compliment the child in front of the parents. This goes a long way and it builds a rapport with the family. So when the child actually does do good, make sure that the whole family knows, and definitely mom and dad. So the child does a lot better than normal. Go to the parents, call the parents, text the parents, let them know, hey, so-and-so did an excellent job today. They've done so much better, they have grown. And make sure that you compliment the child in front of the parent. So not only the parent sees it, but the child knows the parent sees it, and they're like, hey, my parents know now that I've been doing good in class, okay? If all you do is discipline that child and all the parents ever hear from you is when they are bad, then it's not a good relationship builder. When they do good, let the parents know that too. And then lastly, number 15, pray for them daily. Don't leave God out of this thing. If you're having a discipline problem in your class, even in school, pray for these children. They need the Lord. So pray that God would help them to pay attention and God would help them to focus in class. Hey, I hope this video was a help to you, and hopefully you can take some of these tips and hints and hopefully it'll strengthen you as a teacher. And if you'd like even more discipline tips, then click on this video right here. So long. I'll see you again. I gotta go. Oh, by the way, bye.